Hey everybody, my name is Norbert Juist with Career Next, and we are coming to you here today on Executive Job Search Secrets Podcast. And what I want to talk to you about today is a question that I have gotten over and over and over through the years, and that's how do I get into medical sales? So a little bit of a background on me. I have a background in medical sales of 13 years. I did pharmaceutical, I did medical, I've done equipment, I've done orthopedic spine, I've done cath lab, you name it. I've done software, I've done all kinds of things in medical sales. And after that, I actually got into recruiting. And so I've been recruiting for 14 years now in the medical sales space. And so, as you can imagine, I get the question quite often, how do I get started in medical device sales? So first, let me break down kind of a distinction that a lot of people put together. A lot of people think pharmaceutical sales and medical sales are the same thing, and that's not true. So pharmaceutical sales typically is calling on doctors either in their office, or there are institutional pharmaceutical sales reps that are calling on the hospitals, but you're basically selling drugs, okay? And to distinguish that from medical device sales is selling equipment. It kind of breaks down into three main categories, really. There's implants, surgical sales, there's capital equipment sales, and then there's disposable sales. Those are kind of the three main areas of medical device sales. And so a lot of people think medical sales is all encompassing of all of those things. And it's not really true because in a lot of hiring managers' minds, there's a big distinction between pharmaceutical sales and medical device sales. And I'll do another video on that in the future that goes into more detail about the biggest difference between pharmaceutical sales and medical device sales. But I just want to kind of do a quick tidbit on what the distinction is between the two. But the need or the requirement to get into either one of them is actually very similar. So the one thing that I will tell you is that, some people will tell you, oh, it's super hard. It's you're going to work long hours and it's very stressful and all of these things. And my response to that would be, what job isn't? Okay. I mean, you want high results. Guess what? They come with sacrifice. In order to get high rewards, it comes with some stress. It comes with hard work. It comes with discipline. And again, what doesn't require that in order to achieve a high level of success? So the first thing I would tell you is, there's different levels of stages of your career and where you are in your career. And so if you are, and I kind of need to talk to each of you that fit in these different categories a little bit differently. So if you're just a college graduate or very early on in your career and you come to me and you say, Norbert, how do I get in medical device sales? There is no be-all, end-all answer to that question, first and foremost. However, I can talk statistics and I can tell you that statistically speaking, if you do this, your chances of getting into medical device sales are exponentially higher, okay? And I actually have candidates who have done that in the past that are now wildly successful in medical sales who have come to me in the past and they said, how do I get in medical sales? I gave them my advice. They followed it to a T. And now one of the reps that comes to mind, we'll call him Mike, he actually is a President Club rep with his company earning over $200,000 a year, and he was a social worker. And so to come back to the original part of the question. So we're talking to a specific group of young, fresh college grad type people who are early on in their career. My advice to you is go get a business-to-business sales job, okay? That includes working at an ADP, of paychecks. My first job out of college was Pitney Bowes, selling mailing and shipping equipment. Icon copiers, Yellow Book, Dex Media, doing some type of advertising type sales. What managers are looking for is they want somebody who is out knocking on doors face to face, getting their teeth kicked in, to be honest with you. They want somebody who has experienced face to face personal rejection. And I get calls all the time, hey, I'm in mortgages, or I'm in real estate, or, I'm in retail. And again, not to poo-poo those things, not that I, can wave a magic wand and say those things are all bad and business to business is the only way to get in. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking to you, statistically speaking, those are not good backgrounds for medical device sales. And it's not that you as a person in that position are not a quality candidate and not a good person and could be a wildly successful medical device sales rep. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that just those type of backgrounds, you are not out in a business to business setting. Those are B2C, business to consumer. You're on the phone. And medical device companies and pharmaceutical companies like that business to business sales experience. So if you want in medical device sales, I would highly recommend you go get that job in business to business sales. Again, copiers, payroll processing, Cintas, doing uniform supply, where you're going around, you're calling on restaurants, and they say, I've already got a vendor, thank you very much. And you have to overcome that objection, and you have to be told no over and over and over again. Quite frankly, my experience in business to business sales was far more challenging than any of my medical device jobs. As a matter of fact, I would tell you that the hardest thing about medical device typically is getting in. Once you're in the actual job, and again, I was at the top level of medical device sales. I was in orthopedic spine, which is typically considered one of the top tier medical device positions. I worked for a division of Johnson & Johnson, and I sold stents and angioplasty balloons. And so I was in the cath lab. I was calling on interventional cardiologists, interventional radiologists, vascular surgeons. I mean, I reached two of what most people consider the pinnacle of medical device sales. And those jobs were not nearly as challenging as going out and knocking on doors and getting my teeth kicked in over and over and over again, trying to sell a postage machine. And I think my friend Mike, that I got into medical device sales, or I helped get in medical device sales, would probably tell you the same thing. So a little background on his story. Mike was a social worker. Mike was an ex-athlete. He was a college football player, but he got into social work, and he came to me and he said, Norbert, how do I get in medical sales? And I said, to be honest with you, you need to go get a business-to-business sales job. So he did. He went and got a job working, selling copiers. He called me within like 6 months. Norbert, this is brutal. I am miserable. How do I get in medical device sales? And I said, just be patient. Just be patient. Just keep doing what you're doing, and that opportunity will come. I promise you that will come. Sure enough, he kept doing it, hated it every day. And not everybody hates it. Some people love their business sales jobs, and they don't actually end up wanting to get in medical device sales. But for him, that was not his ultimate goal, and he didn't enjoy it. And he continued to call me, every month. All right, I've got some sales numbers now. Get me in medical device sales. And I said, just be patient. Get your 12 months in. Get your 18. It used to be 2 years. They wanted to see 2 years. But that's come down as the quality of talent has been more difficult to find. Then it came down to 18 months of business-to-business sales. Then it dropped down to 12 months of business-to-business sales. And now sometimes people are only in a job for 6 months before they get into medical device sales. However, I would tell you, as a goal, try and stay in it for 12 to 18 months. You don't want to look like a job hopper. But if you go from if you go from business to business sales to medical device sales in 7 months' time, that's very explainable. You can explain why you made that leap, and any manager is going to understand why you made that leap. So the other category of people that I'm going to talk to is maybe you're a clinical, you have a clinical background, you're a nurse, you're a rad tech, you're a, even I've had chiropractors come to me saying, hey, I want to get in medical sales. That's a different category, and you can actually follow that same advice. It's very difficult mentally for those people a lot of times to take a step back and say, really? I have to go from being a nurse to go sell copiers or sell uniform supply to get in medical device? And again, we're not talking, always this is the way to do it. I'm just talking to you statistically speaking, there are ways to get in if you have that clinical background. A lot of medical device companies will hire you as a clinical. A lot of people come to me and they say, well, I've got all this knowledge and I have a degree in biology or chemistry, or I have a background in nursing. Most companies do not ultimately value that experience, to be quite frank with you. They are more interested in selling experience, and they can teach the clinical aspect. Now, there are companies that do value that experience. They aren't most likely going to give you an opportunity straight out of the gate in medical device sales. They're going to give you an opportunity maybe to work as an associate sales rep or potentially as a clinical for that company, and kind of as a bridge opportunity, and you show that you've done a phenomenal job for them, and then you bridge that and you get over onto the medical device sales after being a clinical for 6 months or 12 months or 2 years, etc. And then there's a third tier of people who are a little further along in their career. They've maybe been out in the field doing something for 10 to 15 to 20 years. I receive those calls all the time as well. Hey, listen, I've been in IT sales for the last 20 years. I want to get in medical device sales. Let me tell you, that's a lot harder hill to climb. Is it impossible? No. Do we talk about all the time leveraging your contacts and utilizing your network and using LinkedIn and all those kind of things that we teach people through the Career Accelerator Club? Are there ways to do it? Yes. Is it a lot steeper hill to climb? No two ways about it. It is a very, very, very difficult job to break into medical sales, period, let alone break into medical or pharmaceutical later on in your career. Most companies would rather find you on the early stages of your career, on your way up, and teach you and train you their way. I mean, one major company, manufacturer that everybody would know the name, they have a model of hiring people from business to business sales. And this is a high-end medical device company. They're in the pacemaker world. They're in the heart world. I mean, they are a very well-known major medical device company. And their hiring model is to take people with strong business to business sales and take them to medical device through that business to business sales background. I always talk statistics, right? We talk statistically speaking. Statistically speaking, out of 10 opportunities that are out there in the market, probably 9 out of 10 want somebody with a medical device background. But 1 out of 10 of those is willing to maybe look at somebody with a business to business sales background. And so you want to take that, target those type of opportunities and use the steps that we talk about: networking with recruiters, networking with people who are in the industry and the business, and relying on them to help you get in. But statistically speaking, if you want to talk percentages, the best way, your surefire way, as far as surefire goes, to get in medical sales is to go get a job in business to business sales. And I know it's very difficult, and I know a lot of people don't want to do it, but I can tell you time after time after time where I have given that advice to somebody, they've taken their ego out of it, they've followed that advice, and they have gotten into medical device sales. So I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for coming here today to Executive Job Search Secrets podcast. If you have any questions, you can email us at support@careernextagency.com. And I look forward to talking to you on our next podcast.